Hi, my name is Rod Khleif, and I'm the host of the Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing podcast. And every week I interview multifamily rock stars, and we talk about how they've built incredible wealth for themselves and their families through multifamily properties. So hit the like and subscribe buttons to get notified every Monday when a new episode comes out. Let's get to it. Welcome back to Multifamily Rockstars. So this is where we interview people that are crushing it in this business, and we show you guys the inside scoop of how multifamily investors are creating massive success in their businesses and in their lives. And as always, I've got my co-host, who's the director of my massive action team for the Warrior Group, Mark Nagy, on the call. Mark, what's going on, brother? What's got you excited lately?
Hey, Rod. I love these episodes. I mean, from what I heard, just talking before we jumped on here, I heard some pretty big door counts from our guest here today. So I'm excited to get into it and learn some stuff.
Yeah. Well, he's a good guy. He's a good friend. He's been in our Warrior program for years, and he's originally from Denmark, and I was from Holland. So he immigrated just like I did. And he, has had a successful career in telecommunications and IT. His name's Jens Nielsen. Forgive me, I didn't even say your name, right? But he just retired from his W-2 to focus on real estate. He's been a key principal and a GP in over 1,000 units and a limited partner in, good Lord, a couple thousand mobile home park lots, 6,000 storage units. He does note lending and private money lending. He's just all over this real estate space. So we're gonna have a lot of fun today. Welcome to the show, Jens.
Yeah. Thanks, Rod. I'm really excited about this opportunity to talk to you again.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, that's right. We've had you on the show before. Probably it's been over a year though on the main podcast, not on this Multifamily Rockstars. But so take a minute and talk about your background, as it were. For those that didn't get a chance to listen to that first episode, just bring people back up to speed. And you just retired, I think, right? I mean, like in the last couple of months or something.
Yeah, even less than a month ago.
Wow.
It's
Awesome.
very new. Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm in my late 40s, and about 5 years ago, after being in the IT field for many years with a successful career, I was like, man, I got to continue to do this for another 20 plus years if I ever want to quote unquote retire. And I just didn't feel like I want to do that, continue and trying to keep up with the innovation and all these changes in the IT field. I wanted something new, something exciting I could build for myself. And I looked around, I was like, what's out there? So many ways of making money these days, but the best way I really found was real estate investing. And it's slightly less than 5 years ago I got started. I think in July of 2016, I bought my first property.
Wow.
And got so hooked on it. And it's just been a crazy ride since then with tremendous amount of success and just keeping focused on what I wanted to achieve. So, I mean, kind of here's the proof, right?
Right. Yeah. No. And you've got an incredible focus for sure. I mean, and Guy, you also do mountain like biking as well. I mean, you're really skilled at that. I remember you had a bad accident a year or two ago. I remember going through that with you. But how long have you been in the Warrior program? Refresh my memory.
Yeah, since the beginning. And yeah. I mean, what is it?
Well, you actually talked to me to join, right? I think you actually talked to me to join. Yeah. So that's awesome. Yeah, that's unusual, and so love it. So talk about let's focus on multifamily. I know you've divested into some other asset classes as well, but let's focus on multifamily for purposes of this call. Now you have aligned with other people, coaches in the Warrior program, other people to take these deals down. Correct? Could you talk about maybe the first deal you did and how you made it happen? You remember?
Yeah. So, I started with small thinking and small deals early on because I didn't really have any coaching. I didn't have any like mentorship. Like, right. I can go and buy a 4-unit. I know how to do that, and I can do it with my own money. Mm-hmm. And I'm so, kind of blessed that I saw I started listening to your podcast. Like, man, there's a different way here. And when you started the program there, I was like, man, I gotta sign up here. And the biggest thing I wanted was I wanted the coaching and the training, but I also wanted to find the right partners. Mm-hmm. Because, you can go quickly by yourself, but you can't go very far. It's been my experience because you run out of money and you're like, well, now I'm stuck. So I did a few deals, and then I, started when back when we had live events, I would go to those and I would meet some people. And I met some guys that were like, I felt like they'd done a few things and I wanted to kind of align myself and partner with them. And that's what we kind of got started. We did a few syndications. So I took on a small role, but just kind of got involved and just kind of would see what it meant to be a part of a larger deal, what it meant to be part of a syndication, to kind of learn from that. And that's really took off doing that.
I have a quick follow-up. What role did you play in these first deals? Did you wear multiple hats or just one hat?
Multiple hats. I did underwriting, on-site due diligence, raised some capital, investor communication, kind of taking on the areas that I felt like I'm good at. I'm an introvert by nature, so being out there and connecting with brokers is probably not my strength. But give me, let me work from the back office, and I'll see some good results that way.
Love it. So you got started, obviously you were thinking some smaller deals. I know some people, when I chat with them, they're thinking, oh, I want to start as an LP, right? Passive investor. Obviously you've done a lot of LP deals, passive investing. So for people listening, they might want to start that way. What sorts of things should they look for in the team that they're investing into?
Yeah, I did also start like LP investing before I did into the GP side. And I think the key thing is like, who is the team, right? Who's on the team and what is their level of experience, especially in the market? Have they done more deals or other deals in that market? How well have they done, if they've done anything that has gone full circle, or even just operated for a few years, get some historical data and just kind of see how they're meeting their projections, right? And really figuring out, what's behind this. Do they have some good sponsors? Do they have some very experienced people on the team? That's one of the key things. There's really three things I look at: is the team, then it's the market. What market are they investing in, right? And why do they think that market makes sense? And then finally, it's the property. What's the story about that property? What level of risk are you taking on, right? Are you doing a heavy repositioning on a Class C asset? And then hopefully the return should be reflecting in that. Or are you taking the Class A asset you don't have to do too much work on, and maybe if it's lower returns? Because I think a lot of people don't recognize the risk you take on by taking on some of these lower class assets, for sure.
Yeah. By the way, since you brought it up, Mark, let me throw it out there. Guys, if you want a list of questions that you'd want to ask a GP before getting into a deal, this will really help you identify and evaluate a good GP. Text the words GP questions to 72345. And I've got a really nice list of all the questions you really should ask. And Jens mentioned some of them, and there's just a whole bunch more there. So that'll be a good resource for you. So let me ask you this, Jens, when you were, you joined the Warrior program and you started connecting, and I remember you were definitely introverted. You definitely pushed yourself, and I'm really impressed with you in that regard. The fact that you've been on my podcast now twice, is amazing, and you're just such an awesome success story. What sorts of people did you align with that you feel like helped you ramp this success for yourself? I mean, I don't know. You answer that any way you like.
I love that question, right? Because, and let me actually step back. If anybody asks me what is the thing I love about real estate investing, I always say it's the people I have an opportunity to work with. I mean, there's no questions asked there. So that does kind of set maybe the stage for this question. And the people I align myself with, well, typically you would be attracted to somebody that's similar to you, but I realize that's not the best choice in partnerships, right? So I'm the analytical person. I'm the kind of the back end, kind of getting stuff done, the implementer, if you will. I aligned myself with people that were a little bit more outgoing, a little bit more comfortable going out there and connecting with the brokers and doing all those things, right? Because I feel like if we're all out chasing deals and nobody can figure out how to get across the finish line, you won't be successful. And vice versa, as everybody's sitting at home being a little bit introverted, then you don't get anywhere. So the best partners I've had are people that are great broker connections, really good also investor connections, and those aspects where I can kind of like, well, let me fill in the blanks, on getting this deal across the line, right? Like you have Robert that helps you with some of that stuff.
Yeah, actually Scott now, but yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And those are some of the best partnerships we've ever seen. So
Yeah, I'd actually love to kind of go the opposite way of what Rod just asked. I know he mentioned who do you align yourself with. What I'd love to know is what are some things or people that you had to actually cut out of your life to reach the success that you're at today? Because I think that's equally as important.
Yeah, what'd you sacrifice? That's a good question.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I think I learned a couple of things, especially around the type of investors that you may want to partner with. If you take on a true limited partner, make sure that person is comfortable being completely passive. They're not going to question every step you take. And I've had some, and I was like, man, this was probably not the right choice there. So be aware of that before you start taking on partners and investors. What type of personality do they have? What did I have to cut out of my life? I mean, as Rod said, I've been a professional. I mean, I really had professional racing license for a year, bicycle racing. And I realized, 10, 12 hours of training every week was not going to cut it when I was trying to work and do my real estate investing. So that had to be reduced.
But you were still riding, though. I remember, because you wouldn't have gotten injured. You were halfway, about halfway into our warrior program, I think, and then you got that injury. Were you racing or just screwing around?
I was racing then, and we can also get into that. That was a pivotal moment in my life.
I want to then keep going with that question. Then I will queue up that conversation. Yes.
Yeah. So cutting out some of the racing. Yes, I still ride. I rode this morning. I did an hour and a half this morning, but not nearly as much as I used to. Right. But also people that I think early on in life, your friends are just friends. That's, oh, here's a cool guy or girl. Let me hang out with that person without much intention around what's behind it. So I didn't deliberately say to somebody I didn't want to be friends with them, but I was like, well, this person is not in the same growth pattern that I'm in. So maybe I should decide to spend less time with that person and be much more deliberate around hanging out with people that have felt like on the same journey or the same mindset.
Awesome answer, buddy. And guys, I hope you take note of that one. That's so important. Who you hang out with is who you become. I just had my multifamily boardroom, of which you're a member now, Jens, and I know you couldn't make it, but we just had it last week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. And, I want to be around people that think what I think is hard is easy. So love it. Well, but let's go back to that accident, because I remember it was pretty serious. And so talk about what you wanted to talk about there.
Yeah. I mean, it's 3 years here in May, and I was doing a mountain bike race in Grand Junction, Colorado. And I had a crash. I've crashed many times on my bike, but this time was pretty bad. I ended up with a crushed kidney, actually. Wow. And a couple of injured vertebrae in my back too, and internal bleeding and everything else. I literally was in the ICU for 5 days, and wow. My wife has a picture of me lying there all pale and with various tubes. But it was kind of a wake up call, because I had always been like, oh, I can go and race my bike because then I can show that I'm better than others and I'm good at something. So there was a little bit of lack of worth there to some degree. And I proved it by racing my bike, because I was pretty good at it. But I also realized I'm getting older. I'm not, going to get faster. And I was like, man, this is not the right approach to life. It's not about showing that you're better than other people. It's about the journey. And you talk a lot about that too, right? It's enjoying the journey. It's being with the right people versus the outcome, because there was never a lot of satisfaction in winning races. It was just, it was another trophy, and I had dozens of them. But I realized I was focused too much of the outcome versus the journey. Now it's like, man, just the process. I've gotten much more deliberate around the process and intentional around the process. And I love that now. It's just, hey, man,
good for you.
Get a deal if you do it. If not, there'll be another one coming along, whatever.
I so love hearing that, brother. I can't even tell you how much I love it. Awesome.
Wow. Obviously, you've had a lot of mental shifts in your life, for the better there, whether it was through a crash or whatever. I mean, that's an insane story, but sometimes it takes a wake up call like that. But what is something that you'd love to change about yourself, Jens, but maybe it never will, or you think never will?
I think the long-term strategic planning is something that I need to get a lot better at. I have a tendency to kind of be focused on right in front of me. So that's a process that I'm certainly working on.
That answer really surprises me. I just gotta tell you.
It's funny, right?
Yeah, that one, that's not the one I would have guessed. Please continue. I'm sorry.
Well, good to surprise you a bit. No, I mean, it's sometimes, I guess, and maybe I'm better at it than other people. I just feel like I have a ways to go there, right? And I think the other thing is, I've been on stage a couple of times at your event, Rod. Mm-hmm. I'm scared and I love it, but I mean, becoming better at going out in front and speaking to people and sharing my story. I mean, that would be something that would be amazing to do more of that.
Well, I can tell you, you're 1,000% more comfortable than the last time we interviewed, and really, even on stage, what I recall. So, you're absolutely pushing yourself. And, it's interesting because Tiffy and I just had a conversation about this. We just went to a mastermind in Costa Rica that some of my warriors put on, Garrison and them, and she's an introvert, and an introvert has to, after they're in a social setting, they have to go be by themselves, and it's just such an interesting dynamic for someone like me that's an extrovert that gets more energy from being out there now. I thought I was an introvert, I'm not, but so let me ask you this. There are a lot of people listening that want what you have, Jens, and they want to build this dream. They haven't taken action yet, or maybe they've done a duplex or something. What words of wisdom would you give them?
Find a partner that can hold you accountable, that can help you take massive action, and that's not exactly like you. I mean, my current partner I'm working with, without him, I would have not have gotten to where we're at. I mean, we were literally closed 4 deals in the last 5 months. I mean, that's incredible.
And this is the one you mentioned you met through the Warrior Program, yes?
That's right, yeah.
Love it. By the way, guys, if you're interested in checking out and applying for our Warrior Mentorship Program, text, and I like the word, we want to help you crush it in this business. So text the word crush to 72345. Again, to apply, just text the word crush to 72345, and we'll see if you're a fit for us and if we're a fit for you. And we're very, very selective, and be candid, because we've created this ecosystem that's just incredible. It's just growing organically and everyone wanting to help everyone else. Would you agree, Jens?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I miss going to events. I mean, that was the most fun time I've had.
Well, I'll put it out there. I'm pretty sure we're going to have one in November or December. So I'm putting it out there. But it's going to be Denver or Dallas. And so that's the plan. I'm going to talk to my team about it in our leadership meeting tomorrow. Anyway, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, well, we kind of glossed over something that was huge, which is obviously retirement, 5.5 years. I mean, people work 50 years in a regular job and they don't even have the retirement that they want. You did 5.5 in real estate. And I know it was funny because you just mentioned something you got to work on is more long-term planning. Did you set out in real estate with the goal of retiring early, and now that you've reached that, what's the next goal for you?
Yeah, so I set out. I remember this planning session me and my wife had. Actually, we do the best planning when we're driving because she drives, bless her heart, and I sit next to her and bounce ideas off her. But we had a planning session 5 years ago, going somewhere I don't recall where. And I said, okay, if we buy a 4-plex every year for 10 years, we'll have 40 units, and that will probably about to replace my income. That was the thinking I had 5 years ago. And then, it suddenly just accelerated. And this is the thing, I think people don't realize that there's that thing, you do one deal, it's like, I want to do something bigger and bigger. And it kind of accelerates kind of exponentially, right? I mean, I literally in this, again, I mentioned we've done 4 deals in the last 6 months. I made more money in those 4 deals than I did in a full year of working in my W-2 job, right? And I was like, man, this is just blowing my mind. It's incredible, right?
That's just acquisition. That's just your piece of the acquisition fee, right?
That's right. Yeah. Acquisition fee.
So I mean, that doesn't even count the cash flow, the tax benefits, everything else. So those of you that don't know, when you put a deal together, you charge a freaking acquisition fee because you kiss a lot of frogs to find that deal. And, like we charge 3% and I won't waver on it because, we've had deals fall apart. We've spent a lot of money on due diligence. And so, that's awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, buddy. What is your definition of success? How do you define success?
I think really finding something that you're passionate about that doesn't seem like work to you, right? That you'll just continue to do, and you really focus on and you enjoy the process, not necessarily the outcomes. I like to say, high intention, low attachment. So, really every day I'm working on this is exciting and new ideas are generated, right? So just growing every day and achieving new things and stuff, but not necessarily like, I want a certain number of units by a certain date. I'm very careful about saying that, because don't attach your self-worth to a certain number, because that's just pointless. Like, just make sure that you really enjoy the process and work with people that you truly enjoy working with. So
yeah,
I feel like that's
Love
my
it.
definition.
What's your just a couple more quick questions. What's your favorite quote? Do you have a quote that hangs on your wall? Do you have anything that you circle back to on a regular basis that really helps motivate you?
It's funny. There's actually one on my screen right in front of me, and it says, "See yourself living in abundance and you will attract it." Rhonda Bryan.
I love it. I have one on my wall in my exercise room. God's wealth flows through me in avalanches of abundance. Thank you, God. And that's just meaning abundance in all forms, not just money, but people and love and friendships and you name it. Love it. Well, listen, I'm going to end on that positive note. Jens, I really appreciate you coming on, buddy, and really great to see you. And I promise you, we will figure out a way to do an event this year, because I miss it. Tiffy misses it. And, we're going to make it happen, brother. But great to see you, my friend.
Likewise. Yeah. I'm super excited to see everybody in person again.
Yeah. All right. Talk to you later. Mark, I'll see you later, buddy.
All right. See you guys.
Rod, I know a lot of our listeners are wanting to take their multifamily investing business to the next level. Now, I know you've been hard at work helping our Warrior students do just that using our ACT methodology, which is awareness, close, and transform. Can you explain to the listeners how they can get our help?
You bet. Guys, we've been going nonstop for 3 years, building an amazing community of like-minded people. And our coaching students, which we call our Warriors, have had extraordinary results. They've purchased thousands and thousands of units. And last year, we did over 1,000 units with our students. And we're looking to grow this group and take it to the next level. We're looking for people who want to follow a proven framework that's really step by step, and then leverage our systems and network to raise equity, to find and close deals, and to build partnerships nationwide. Now, our Warrior community is finding success in any market cycle. So if you're interested in finding out more about how you can become more of our incredible network and take advantage of the incredible opportunities that are coming very soon, apply to work with us at mentorwithrod.com or text CRUSH to 41411. That's mentorwithrod.com or text CRUSH to 41411.